I can get behind that for sure. It looks like we're underway.
Uncle's leaving forever. Goodbye. Bye, Uncle. And just a little bit of love to start with. Now we're gonna get to see the Uncle item. Very quick check from PKR. Getting to see there's a crystal up at Tower of Hera. We've got the green pendant at Desert Palace and a blue pendant at Eastern Palace. So there are 6 crystals and a red pendant hiding out in the Dark World this time around. Down the Uncle hole we go. Let's see what we get.
Alrighty, Kina Samari is not a bad item to start out with. Pretty generous with the magic, so shouldn't be any problem for our runners. It's a bit of a slower option, so our runner's generally looking for a sub 6, or at least somewhere around the 6-minute mark to get through the escape sequence, and Samaria kind of slows that down a little bit. Bomb drop off the bat means that we're not going to have to farm for anything, so that's pretty handy.
Indeed, and it's also going to be a required item out of the gate for these runners. With the knowledge we have of what's in the overworld, the cane is going to be required for at least one of the crystal dungeons in the Dark World, because they will be going into either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock. And hey, there's some more bombs. Never not have enough bombs at the start here, even though you only just need one.
So the thing between these two runners here is their execution is pretty equal, I'd say. PinkKittyRose might have a bit of an advantage on that front. However, I think what it's going to come down to with this set here is, or this third game is just kind of just the routing. PinkKittyRose tends to go for a couple of gambles every race. So if those pay off, then I think it's her game to lose. But if Zelda chooses to gamble a little harder than usual, then he could be in good shape as well.
Indeed. And just to keep in mind, we have, I believe, we've had 2 people already get through the top 8. Gerdo and Gloin are both through. They both have won their round of 16 matches, and I believe we have a match that could be deciding a third one on one of the other channels right now. But by the end of this, we could have half of the top 8 already qualified and through. So this could be very, very interesting and very important to see who comes out of this one. And again, not finding a whole lot in the dungeon down here, so we're gonna have to wait and see what lies ahead in the escape area. There are going to be 4 possible items in there because we have the key, so that cannot be in that first chest. And we've also got the 3 locations behind the bomb wall to check out. Usually there's something of value there. It kind of gives you an idea of where to go progression-wise.
Yeah, it's always nice when the items in the back of Escape kind of give you some kind of direction, because at this point, I mean, we're going to see Kakariko. That's the standard route, I would imagine. I mean, we might see Pink Kitty choose to, I don't know, maybe pop down to South Shore just because it could happen. But when you get something in the back of Escape, it kind of gives you at least some direction, as you said, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the times, if you don't get anything in the back of Escape here, you're probably gonna go to Kakariko. You'll do like kind of the northwest wraparound route, I like to call it, where you go up, you do Lost Woods, maybe. Depending on the runner, you may check Lumberjack Cave, or you may decide to hold off on that until you have the boots, just to save a little bit of time. And PinkKittyRose walks through the ropes there. They're snakes, but the actual enemy is called rope. It's weird. Anyways, just finding a big 20 in that chest. We'll pontificate more upon the naming conventions of Zelda enemies at a later date and time. We get to see Zelda go ahead and get that key rat, no problem. And we'll get to see what these last 3 items are.
Oh, so what was that first item? I missed
Boomerang.
that.
It was the boomerang.
Okay.
Had a small hiccup there in Zelda's stream for just a moment. And it's always inconvenient when it happens when they're going to open up an item, but PinkKittyRose being right behind means that we get to see that it is the boomerang, the map, and a big 20, meaning that there is something in this chest coming up here. Still a 6-minute escape for Zelda is pretty good, and PinkKittyRose won't be too far behind. And it's a heart.
It wasn't the Sang heart. That would have
Nope.
been very nice.
That would have been very convenient. So PinkKittyRose looks like she's going to go ahead and maybe go do the south route. Well, Zelda will be going and checking the normal route, so a bit of a divergence here. We will likely see both runners go ahead and kind of crisscross at a later date and check the locations that the other one is checking right now.
Yeah, going for South Shore before Kakariko, you're hoping to pick up something like a bottle so that you don't have to come back to Kakariko for the sick kid check. Things like that. We'll find the lamp here in the dam.
That's a nice find. Yep, big 20 up on Lumberjack Ledge. Zelda going for that knowledge and finding out not a required item. Doesn't mean that Aga is not required for the seed, but just not required to go ahead and get progression yet. And there's still a few scenarios where that could be the case. And there's a big 20 in the swamp. And a glove upgrade. Actually, just a glove in this case. For Zelda at the mushroom spot in Lost Woods. Good find.
Definitely, we are one piece closer to Dark World access. PKR with this check of Agina's cave very early on. This is an out-of-the-way location that runners will usually put off a little longer, but I mean, if it's holding something, then coming here early, it definitely pays off.
Absolutely. We get to see, oh, it's just a 5 arrow capacity upgrade. Oh boy. A little bit of Agony Cave very early on. But Zelda is going to make the trip down to Blind's basement. Gonna open up these 5 chests that are down here. And we'll get to see if there's any value in there. Oh, that's 1 heart. There's a full heart. Big 5 and big 50. So nothing really so far yet, just a little bit of health. Unless there's something. Nope, just 10 arrows in there.
Well, I guess Zelda got the cash necessary for the bottle vendor.
Absolutely, that will be fairly welcome. I'm certain to get that routed in now. And Cane Strats for Mini Moldorm Cave as Zelda falls into the Kakariko well. Check 4 more chests in here. A little bit of love. There's a bee in a bottle. That actually will be very nice for PinkKittyRose. Some bombs for Zelda.
And PKR also picked up the Moon Pearl.
Ooh, and the Magic Cape for Zelda. And 300 rupees as well.
So we've got the cape, we've got the lamp, we've got the Moon Pearl already. Those are the things you don't want to see if you're thinking it might be an Aga seed.
No, because we're really just a hammer away now from being
That's true.
Dark World Access no mode between the 2 of them. And the chicken coop, aka Krista's house, just a 5 bomb capacity upgrade. Well, PinkKittyRose is going over to check the Ice Rod Cave.
So another kind of out of the way location there, but you know, just crossing it off so you don't have to think about it later in the run.
Absolutely. I think PKR will be going and doing the Kakariko tour here in just a moment.
Yeah, it seems like
Oh,
Flipper's hanging out in the library.
hi, Boots. I'm going to have to go find you, aren't I?
Well, I mean, I guess at some point in this seed, we are going to go fast, which is nice.
Indeed. We're also probably going to have to go for a swim at some point.
Yeah.
And the one thing that is nice that PinkKittyRose has that Zelda does not have is that bottle, so she'll be able to go ahead and additionally wrap in the Sick Kid and get that check taken care of right now instead of having to do it later. We'll save a little bit of time on efficiency.
Yeah, and given that for the most part Kakariko was a bust, like maybe that Sick Kid is the one location that's actually holding something of value.
Absolutely could be. And Zelda picking up the lamp now. So, as mentioned before, we're going to see our runners go ahead and kind of crisscross the paths that the other one took. So they should be fairly even on items, depending upon what Sick Kid has, if it's anything of value.
Yeah, so we'll just have to kind of wait and see where our runners decide to go next with this this collection of items they've found so far. Death Mountain is open. The Old Man and the item inside Spectacle Rock. Not really an attractive play, but it could be the one that one of our runners chooses to go for. And otherwise, we're going to see maybe some Eastern Palace stuff, Sahasrara's hut. But we'll soon find out which direction our runners decide to go.
And Zelda, of course, not picking up that Moon Pearl. Getting the bottle as well. And that magic cape now, even with what they've found so far, we're still kind of in a situation where Aga could be required for Dark World access if the hammer doesn't show itself in the remaining Light World locations. Now, they do both have the option of going into Eastern Palace. They both have the option of going up and doing some of the checks on the western half of Death Mountain before they go ahead and have to go to Aga, and they're kind of forced by logic to do so. They can fake Flipper around and get a couple of additional locations now that they have the Moon Pearl. It'll be very interesting to see which options our runners take at this point. We're getting a Sick Kid check, and it's 50 rupees.
I guess that little bit of extra cash puts PKR over the top to pay off Zora if she chooses to do so.
Absolutely.
Halia Island has just a piece of heart, so probably not going to be picking that up at any point.
Yep. Looks like Zelda's going to be going over to Eastern Palace to check the Sahasrara hut and probably dip into the palace, maybe to see if there's anything of value in the first couple of chests there.
Yeah, I mean, item density-wise, this makes the most sense. You got the 3 in the back of Sasrala's hut, and potentially 3 items in Eastern Palace, depending on how the item layout shakes out.
Yeah, so of course this is a good time to remind people who may be new to the randomizer two things in particular. One, the game does not take the amount of money that you find before you go to Zora into effect to put a item at Zora. The game will assume that you're going to go ahead and grind for money to go ahead and check it anyways. So even though both of our runners have almost enough to go ahead and go do the Zora check, it doesn't mean the game is necessarily telling them they have to go do it for progression. And the other thing to keep in mind too is that with the item density plays, especially if you're new to it, item density doesn't always correlate to progression. So it just means that you have obviously a greater chance of finding something if you're looking for progression in a dungeon that has more possible item spots. But you never know. You could end up going into Thieves Town with its forefront chests and finding 3 progression items in the front there and the big key. Rando does as it pleases.
So it looks like PKR is going to be heading up Death Mountain here to do the 2 items check that we can do up here, the Old Man and Inside Spectacle Rock.
Yep, and just a small heads up, the tracker site, the site that our trackers use for the trackers that you see on the screen, may be having a little bit of issues, so there might be a little bit of lag. Just to give you a heads up in case some people are wondering, why a certain item might not be popping in there. Just a small little thing. So I think we're working on that.
And of course, shout outs to our tracker today, Axis of Anarchy. Thank you for stepping in and tracking, pushing those buttons behind the scenes for us.
Indeed, it's a lot harder of a task than it seems. And of course, the big key showing up for Zelda in the front there. We'll be able to go ahead and check what's in the big chest.
So I don't think that PKR checked this beforehand, so it's kind of a blind look. And we get the Bombos medallion, which at this point isn't going to help us out, but it could be required for Misery Mire or Turtle Rock. It also could be our way through Ice Palace if we don't find the fire rod anytime soon.
Good call on that, Sabo. I was just about to bring that up if you didn't, but I figured you probably know to bring that up. Yeah, that's one of 2 ways to get inside the Ice Palace for those who might not know it. Or the fire rod's kind of the intended strat when you play this vanilla because you get it in an earlier dungeon, but Bombos will also work in a pinch if you don't happen to have fire yet. Hey, there's our first sword showing up in Eastern Palace.
Okay, so based on what we've seen so far, then between our 2 runners, it's looking like the play is ag. We've got Cape, Lamp, 1 sword, and Moon Pearl. There's not really a lot of locations left. Zora, and Zora. I think that's about it.
I think it's about it. And keep in mind too, one of the things is that the logic is not set up for the randomizer so that you have to do glitches to get progression. So anything that our runners are going to do as far as fake flippers, they may not get any sort of progression out of it. So there might not be progression at Hobo, might not be at Zora. The game was probably thinking, okay, you're gonna go to Aga and do this anyways, especially with that sword and that cape and the lamp. I feel like that's probably the logical progression at this point.
So I think that Zelga's going to have that knowledge kind of a little sooner than PKR here, but he's got a couple more locations. He could possibly check the Agina's cave as well. So we'll see how long it takes him to maybe go for the Aghanim play.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if he makes the play immediately afterward, or if he goes ahead and takes the chance to look at Agina's cave, or makes the, you know, do you make the walk over there to check it, or do you make the gamble that I don't need it? And Bottle Kid too, that's a good point. He's got to double back the Kakariko, and we'll lose a little bit of time on that compared to PinkKittyRose being able to essentially route it in with everything else. It's very interesting to see how each runner approaches it. We'll get to see what Zelda does here. Yeah, Zelda's going to go to Ganon. Interesting call.
Yeah, this is one of those, like, I'm feeling like this is a gamble. He's thinking, okay, it's probably going to be an Aga seed. I don't want to waste any more time doing any kind of one-off checks, and I'm going to, hope that this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I feel like he's just playing the odds that, I need what do I need to get to Dark World at this point, which is the lift upgrade or the hammer. What are the odds that it's on Sick Kid, and what are the odds that it could be in Nagina's cave versus, say, this being an Agassi? I think the odds, probably in his mind and of course in our minds as well, was that this is almost certainly an Agassi. Of course, we have the wonderful ability to have, I call it God vision, because we can see everything that they're doing. So we know what the plays are, and our runners are just kind of having to figure this out on the fly. So it's a lot harder. It looks like PKR is going to be joining Zelda in the castle tower here to go fight Aga. Pretty rough start there with the ball and chain guards. They are not fun to deal with just on Fighter Sword.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a long way out to do the Zora check. So I'm really not surprised. I mean, the only other thing you might want to do is actually fake flipper and try and beat the logic by lucking out and getting a glove on Hobo or in the waterfall cave. But I think, as much as these runners might be thinking you gotta gamble big to win this race. This is one of those plays that is you just got to make it. It's more sensible, and it's worth it to go this route instead.
And very interesting here, we're seeing PinkKittyRose saving a little bit of time, actually using the Bombos medallion that she picked up on inside a Spectacle Rock to take care of those golden ball and chain guards. It's actually a really smart move. I like that play.
Yeah.
The animation time's longer, obviously, than swinging your sword a couple times, but it one-shots them versus having this, hit them 5 or 6 times a piece. And Zelda's going to go ahead and use it in the following room. So we're seeing both runners make some nice use of that Bombos. And for those who are just joining us and wondering why are they in Aga, is it for Lumberjack Ledge item or Dark World access? It's Dark World access. Lumberjack Ledge item was just a big 20, and we've tapped out all of the possible overworld locations between PinkKittyRose and Zelda for progression items. So off to Aga we have to go.
I'd be really interested to see if Sora actually does have something, because with our runners having both chosen to go this route and leaving the Zora check, they'd both probably feel like they're very behind. Zora's probably got nothing in this seat, I'd imagine, but it'd be interesting if he did have something.
It would be kind of sadly funny if he had hammer or boots or hookshot, anything that would have given them some kind of progression to continue on in the light world.
Yeah.
And Zelda will be first, hopefully, assuming that this fight goes rather cleanly, to get to the Dark World. Of course, our wonderful folks in chat guessing how many blue balls is Zelda gonna get thrown at him by Aga today. I think we've already seen 2. There's 3.
And can I just say big shout outs to zelgadissan here, swinging his sword to the beat of the music. I'm a big fan of that.
Here we go. Zelda dropping Aga just over 26 minutes. Gonna have that Dark World access and get the check and see right off the bat what's on the pyramid. Just bombs.
I mean, that's another thing. We've now got access to the Dark World. Oh, okay, map check. 5-6 crystals, Swamp Palace, and Misery Mire. And our last pendant is Skullwoods.
Alright, so that should tell us everything we need for go mode at this point. Based on what we have, we're going to need the bow, we're going to need the hookshot, we're going to need the boots, which will lead us to the flippers, we need the hammer, both rods, and the mirror, and the flute.
Well, pretty much an everything seed.
Yeah, it's pretty much all the things we don't have right now.
And that's what I was just going to say is that we have Dark World access now, but we don't really have a whole lot of locations to check. So Zelda making the right play here. Palace of Darkness, even though we don't have bow or hammer, we can't complete the dungeon, but it is dense with items. So there's got to be something in here.
And also keep in mind that without the hammer or the hookshot, they're trapped on this side of the Dark World. They can't get across. So they really don't have a choice but to go into pod, and there's got to be some sort of progression inside the pod, some kind of item that will open up access to them, be it a hammer, be it a lift upgrade, a hook shot, something, because we're kind of stuck at the moment, and we are not bow locked in here, so...
Yeah, the only other place we can check out at this time would have been the catfish, but we see that both of our runners have decided to skip on that check for now. And based on when our runners finished their Aga fight, it was basically about a 30-second advantage for Zelda at this point. So, I mean, neck and neck. The seed's been kind of linear, so it's kind of led them to the same place here, but still, it shows that both of our runners are on equal footing here, and it's going to be an excellent remainder of the race.
Yep, so one of the things to keep in mind for those who are perhaps playing along at home and doing some item chest counting, there's 4 keys in the front of Palace of Darkness. We've now found 3 of them, so 1 more key to find, and we've got 2 more items. Like the hook shot.
Nice.
So that's that'll be a nice find for both runners, because that will give them access to go ahead and check a whole bunch of other locations, as well as go and get through the rest of the Dark World here.
Now, this is really interesting. Zelda is going to be giving us the potion glitch here.
For those of you who don't know what the potion glitch is, it's basically a glitch involving the bottle that allows the camera to kind of be off center, and you can shift it to the right in that room and get the gorillas to follow you, get the gorillas to do what they do, You don't have to kill him. You just have to get him to go off of the screen, and the door will open because it assumes, hey, they're not in the screen, they're dead. And there's the ice rod as the second item in the front. And Zelga's gonna go ahead and death warp back to the front here. Maybe even dip out.
And PKR's got the same idea here, going for the bottle glitch as well. No problems there.
Yep, and that is a glitch that in the game can be used to access a lot of things and break a lot of things, but in this case, it's only allowed for use in this dungeon for that specific scenario, so it's considered a minor glitch for that. And Zelda is going to the back, so we will get to see what's in the back half here. Still have 3 more items to find within Palace of Darkness, as well as 2 more keys. And there's one of them. And there's the other one. Well, good news for Zelda is everything from this point on is going to be dungeon items or other items. And we got 2 dungeon items, so we know that one of the next 2 chests will have the big key.
Yep.
And everything else besides that is going to be an actual item, including whatever's on Helmasaur King, which could be progression, could not be progression. There's one item that's going to be the heart, so obviously that means that the next chest down here in the bottom right corner will have the big key. Of course, you got to find that. It's required for Helmasaur King access. And heart, and yep, I figured we say save and quit, simply because you can, with the bombs, go ahead and try and defeat Helmasaur King. Actually, no, you can't, because you can't kill the turtles. That's right. And you need the bow anyways to flip the switch.
So it looks like Zelda is going to be taking that hook shot and using it to get over to north and then west Dark World. So the 2 options, I think, would have been either to do this or to head up Death Mountain again and check out the east side. But I think that this is probably the better play, especially because they've already been up the mountain once. They don't want to do that again. So we're going to be seeing Thieves Town, Village of Outcasts, and looks like Zelda's going to root in a catfish check as well.
Yep, it's a good call at this point. Catfish is within the path here, so why not do it right now? And for those wondering, hookshot is within logic because this was logically the only path that they could have taken, was to go to Palace of Darkness.
Oh, that's a pretty convenient find.
Yeah. So that actually was a good call. I saw some people in chat mentioning catfish earlier. Why don't they go check catfish? Well, turns out that was actually a good call to go check catfish. Would have gotten the mirror, but that also probably wouldn't have opened up too much here. Though we are seeing zelgadissan go ahead and do the Zora life lesson class here today.
Yeah.
Also, actually, a good call. Getting all of these things out of the way locations checked right now is not a bad decision.
Yeah, that seems about right. Big 20. So picking up that mirror, now Zelga is thinking, okay, I've got to do Tower of Hera. It's a crystal dungeon. We were 35 minutes in, and we don't have a dungeon completed yet. You've got hook shots, so you got access to East Death Mountain as well. So this play becomes a lot more attractive.
Indeed. Of course, we're seeing both runners go ahead and save and quit. So that they can go ahead and go up to Mountain Cave. Check Paradox Cave to start with. Get that item density taken care of. Big 20 and a shield. Hooray! Ooh, interesting divergent here. Zel's gonna checking out Paradox Cave. Pink, is it getting the boots? That's a good call. Das
Definitely.
Boot. But PinkKittyRose can go into Tower of Hera and complete the Crystal Dungeon, I would assume.
Yeah, choosing to do this first before Paradox. I mean, it was kind of like a 50-50, whatever you felt like doing, really. Yeah, not bad. I mean, she'll get over to Hookshot Cave, Paradox Cave after this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I just assume this is probably the interesting routing decision, not necessarily a bad routing decision whatsoever. Oh, and a sword upgrade on the floating island.
Yeah, we definitely need one more sword to get through this run, so that's nice to know that is there.
Right, and it'll be nice to know even if they find a Master Sword upgrade that's still there, they can go grab it later on their way to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, most definitely. Tempered would be a nice bonus if they've already collected Master Sword somewhere else.
And Spiral Cave only having a full heart to do that. There's a small key. So we're still looking for a map and Quake showing up there. PinkKittyRose with the nice bomb jump across the gap, nice and clean. Saving some time on that. So the key showed up in the chest. We got 2 items to go. There's a regular item and the map. And it'll be very interesting to see what does Moldorm drop. Which of those do we get from our wiggly little friend up here?
So with 2 medallions in hand, you'll be feeling a little bit better about your medallion requirements for Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. So we're hoping, I guess, for a runner's sake, that Ether is not required.
For a runner's sake, they would not like that. For a commentator's sake, we want Ether on. Oh, there's the mushroom. So yeah, the basement item is going to be the map, which is really nice. They don't have to go back down to the basement. And mushrooms is another item to turn in. Oh my goodness. Could actually be progression, could be junk. But yeah, without that Ether at Misery Mire, we don't get the bird toss.
Well, we do like our bird tosses, so maybe we should make that one Ether required.
Oh, interesting decision here from PinkKittyRose. Gonna save and quit from the Dark World, which will teleport her to the pyramid, as seen there. So I'm guessing she's gonna go ahead and mirror at mirror and do the turn in for the mushroom.
Yeah, and then from there head over to West Dark World here.
Very interesting. Could be a wise play, but she still does not have the boots.
Yeah, and the boots are it's one of those items that, I mean, this is gonna slowly work in Zelda's favor. Just being able to dash around the world makes a difference. So especially seeing as we don't have a lot of quick travel at this point. We're still using the Aga portal to get into the Dark World, so kind of crisscrossing the map is going to save Zelda time because he's got those boots. Half magic for a mushroom turn-in. That's not a bad item.
Not at all. We're gonna have a lot of magic use in the remaining dungeons, so not bad at all to find that please, Zelda, please, please with the with the fight here.
Yeah, living dangerously for a little bit there.
Indeed, PinkKittyRose cleaning out some of these locations here in Dark World.
Definitely a good time to check out the graveyard ledge here. Kind of a goofy route to get into it here because you don't have boots or the Titan's Mitt, but here we go, one more check.
For those wondering in chat, is it really bad that PKR has not gone up to do Paradox Cave at this point? Not too bad yet. It's still actually nice. Zelda with a nice nice little fake flipper there to get to the northeast corner of the map.
Yeah, very nice.
But for those wondering, is this bad? It's not killer, but it's not great that she hasn't gone back up to do Paradox Cave because the boots are up there. So missing out right now on 2 additional checks and being able to get the flippers off the library bookshelf ledge. And finding Titan's Mitt, though, on Bumper Cave.
So this is good for PKR's Dark World access, able to make use of the portals around the world. So that's a good thing. I feel like Zelda's going to be, passing this area fairly soon, and will also grab that. But this will make the boots advantage a little bit less of a problem for PKR, at least for now.
Right. If she decides after this to go back up to Death Mountain anytime, she's gonna be able to do the entire East Death Mountain item check circuit in one go. Zelgadissan is gonna be as Chez pointing out, same character from an anime series. But Zelda's gonna have to go back and do it again, and will not be able to do it as efficiently. I messed up the name, so what? We know who we're talking about. You know who we're talking about. Zell, please.
So Zelda able to get the 1 extra check there with the boots. He's able to do the King's Tomb. Wasn't anything of value. PKR finding the big key in the back part of Skullwoods, or the furthest back that she can get at this point. So now going to check out the front part of the dungeon.
I'm just finding the magic burrito that has all the directions on it, aka the map.
Quick and easy setup with the bomb jump there. Piece of cake there.
Yeah, it's finding a heart there.
So we're going to have to drop down into the other section of the dungeon. Or just going to leave it for now. That's okay as well. We've only got potentially 1 item left in Skullwoods there anyways.
Yeah, so not a bad decision. Go ahead and complete the Village of Outcasts checks here. And Zelda's going to go ahead and be grabbing those Titan's Mitts in just a moment.
Gotta be careful. He's getting kind of bodied by everything here on the map.
Indeed. Very difficult. Gotta be watching those death birds, I like to call them.
The
People are like, oh, they're murder dactyls. Murder dactyls. I just call them death birds because I feel like it's less clever but more blunt and to the point. It's a bird. What does it do? Death.
Yeah. No need to sugarcoat it. All right, so Zelda picks up his Titan's mitts.
Indeed, and we're getting a check here into Thieves Town by PinkKittyRose. Finding first, just the 5-bomb upgrade. We know one of these front chests is going to have a big key because that's what logic says. And there's your big key.
So Zelda heading into the front part of Skullwoods first. Takes a death there, just to warp back to the entrance and also to gain a couple hearts back.
Chest number 3. Thieves Town is just the map. Chest number 4 is 10 bombs. Even a 10-bomb upgrade, just 10 bombs.
So Zelda giving us the this one little area we haven't seen yet. A small key here, so possibly an item up north in the next room.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where it could be nothing important, but yep, just another key. So looks like the second item's in the back half.
Yeah. So without the fire rod, we won't be picking that up anytime soon. And plus, this is one of our pendant dungeons, so unless this is the pedestal seed, probably not going to be going back into the back of Skullwoods, maybe at all in this run.
Yeah, I would assume not. It'll be a location where they'll have to keep in mind that there's an item there, but again, probably not something you're going to really think about until you run out of options and you're just like, well, I'm still looking for something, and this is the last place it could possibly be. It's got to be back here somewhere. So 10 arrows in the top floor chest there for PinkKittyRose. We're down to a single item that's left to be found in Thieves Town.
Huh. So I guess, I mean, after this, where would our runners go? We haven't, because of our access into the Dark World being a little bit funny, we haven't seen Hype Cave yet. So that'll be interesting to see if there's anything there. So any of that South Dark World stuff is still on the table. We can get into at least one chest of Swamp Palace, for Zelda can at least, because we'll be able to grab the flippers off of the library bookshelf. But there's not a whole lot of other locations for our runners to check out.
Well, yeah, we've got basically just most of the stuff that's south of, Village of Outcasts tour there with a digging game and Stumpy, K45, kind of in the Hype Cave, kind of the usual route there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with a Smith tour kind of thrown into the mix there.
Yeah. I feel like it's likely that Hammer is going to be the next thing that we find based on how everything is kind of played out so far.
That would seem to make sense. That would give quite a few options as far as access. It would open up Swamp Palace, it would open up Pod the Completion.
So PKR takes down Blind, no problem there.
Indeed, we do have the answer for where that fourth item is. It's in the big chest.
Ooh.
we need a hammer to find out if it's going to be something important. Also means that we know the hammer's not in a dungeon at all.
Mm.
And the one thing that kind of stinks at this point is getting a lot of dungeons and a lot of locations where there's one item left and it's locked behind something that you don't have right now, and that tears at you because you're just like, I want to know if I need to do this, if I need to go get an item to do this, and
Yeah,
you don't know.
We've left quite a few so far. I mean, Helmasaur, wow, one dig only for the digging game. That's fantastic.
Super generous.
We've left an item on Helmasaur King. There's one in the back of Skull Woods, and now this one here in the basement of Thieves Town. So yeah, those are just terrible locations to have to leave behind, but hopefully they won't come into play.
Hopefully not, but it is a situation where, depending upon where other items are, you know, they could all have progression. They could have necessary progression to get through the game, and there's just nothing really important there in K45. Let's not pretend that we saw that single green rupee. It didn't happen.
Yeah. So after checking that cave, PKR is going to head back and start doing some of the smith stuff. Gonna grab Jeremiah the bullfrog. So yeah, this is going to be kind of some new territory, this South Dark World stuff that PKR is going to be taking care of, so interesting to see what we find.
Yep. So interesting thing here too is that with the mushroom and the gain available, fake powder was a possibility, but both runners have turned into mushroom.
Ah, yeah, right. Interesting.
So very, very interesting here. On the other hand, I think without that hammer, since it is a glitch, I think without that hammer, it's probably not necessarily something that we would expect to have a item that would lead them in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what Stumpy has today. How will you disappoint us today, son? Yeah, you could have did better, but you didn't do too bad. Try again next time. Zelda now finishing up the line fight here in Thieves Town. As PinkKittyRose goes and turns in the purple chest.
Another piece of heart.
Fairly healthy seed for our runners, but they don't want healthy, they want items.
Yeah.
And we are going to get a check of Hype Cave. Finally. 53 minutes in. PinkKittyRose making a Hype Cave trip right now.
This one's got some promise. So, Chad, what do we think? How hype is this Hype Cave going to be? I'm thinking it's going to be about a 6 or 7 out of 10. There's got to be something in here that we need.
I'll say 4. I think it's going to be... I think we've still got a ways to go. Oh, that's not a good start.
No.
Lumia, okay. Bombs. Hammer!
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Here's the hammer. So that's about a 6 or 7.
Pretty Hype Cave.
Pretty good.
Pretty hype. So, where does PKR go from here? Mountain Cave. Okay, so looking like East Death Mountain. Gonna clear up all of that, which is great. Just gonna grab those boots. And I mean, now we've got access. Once she then gets down, and as Zelga's picking up right now, the flipper's there. We're gonna have access to Ice Palace and Swamp Palace.
Right, I think Swamp Palace is absolutely the next play based upon the items that you already have.
Yeah. As we were talking about earlier, Bombos, we've got the Bombos medallion, but we don't have the Fire Ride yet, so it could lead one of our runners into Ice Palace before Swamp. But density-wise, yeah, I think Swamp's the play.
So PKR is about to pick up the boots. And we'll probably see a play into the Dark World as well to check on a few things. There's the boots.
Yeah, whatever is hiding in Super Bunny Cave and Hookshot Cave, I'm looking forward to seeing what we might find in there, because that's a spot that Zelda's probably not going to get back to for a little while.
Another nice little thing is PinkKittyRose will be getting that Master Sword as well on the floating island.
And we'll also find out what medallion we need here.
So to say, I like this play, getting to check the Turtle Rock medallion and then wrap around into all of the other things. It's a little quicker, I believe, to go ahead and come from the top down to check Super Bunny Cave anyways. It is Bombos. Just gonna open that up. Save a little bit of time later.
I wonder if she takes a quick look in. We can only get to maybe one, and if there's another key, if there's a key in there, 2 chests. You're gonna be locked out of the dungeon otherwise. She is gonna go in. I like this.
Interesting. Yeah, this will be a small dip, hopefully. And probably just a small dip, and we'll see what's in this first chest. If it's not a key, then it's a big key, so that's not the key that we need, though. And Zelda is about to experience the fun of Agony Cave, checking it late, looking for a needed item, and finding a 5 arrow capacity upgrade.
Yep.
Yeah, that was actually not too bad. Saves a little bit of time on the return.
So Super Bunny Cave not really paying off there.
Nope, but again, just removing those squares from the board.
Piece of heart in the first chest there.
Bow! Oh! Oh!
Whoa, and a shovel for good measure.
Well, 2 sword upgrades and a bow. I'd say this was a worthwhile trip.
Yeah, no doubt. So the sword advantage is going to come in handy for PKR going through some of these later dungeons. Zelda might miss out on grabbing those for like the Argus fight or even Cold Stare. Huh.
Yeah, I think at this point, any sort of gains that Zelda made from the skipping Spiral Cave, it looks like. Oh, maybe not. We just remembered. Yep. But I was gonna say skipping Spiral Cave actually probably a good idea. Just had a heart in there, so it wasn't anything of value. I think she was on the way to go check Spike Cave. And stopped and remembered, oh wait, I still have this to do.
Interesting. Zelda was mighty close to heading into Swamp Palace there, but I think remembered that Dark Death Mountain is now accessible, and is looking to take care of this now as well.
Right, so looks like they may be fairly evenly matched there when it comes to, well, just about everything at this point.
Yeah. I think you're thinking that, oh, red mail, that's not a bad pickup.
Nope.
What you're thinking is that, if I can find something here in Hookshot, Super Bunny, that might allow me to maybe go mode swamp or something. Like maybe you find just the missing pieces of the puzzle before having to dip into swamp. You might save enough time.
Right, so he won't find that, but he will find a lot of nice little things that will certainly help with the fight.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're an hour into this race here, and I mean, our runners are basically neck and neck at this point. I imagine that after doing this, Zelga is probably going to head to Swamp Palace as well. He was leaning on maybe going for this play, and I think he'll go back there now that he's completed this check as well.
Probably, it seems like a wise decision on his part. So let's see what we've got here inside of Swamp Palace. PinkKittyRose gonna be checking his first chest. Yeah, it's just a burrito.
So what are we still looking for? We're looking for the fire rod and the flute at this point for go mode. And medallion requirement for Misery Mire, if in fact it is ether, we're looking for that as well. Just don't know that yet.
One can only hope it's ether.
Yes.
I want that bird toss.
As
Give me
we
that bird
stated,
toss.
yes. Bird toss fans up in here, so yes.
No, I actually prefer its sibling, bird tote, where you take the frozen bird inside.
Oh, nice.
Mostly because I like saying the word tote.
Yeah.
It's just fun to say. And meanwhile, PinkKittyRose is making progress through the dungeon, looking for those last two items. You know, somebody in chat has asked the magical question: what's bird toss? Bird toss is there's a murder dactyl in. Oh, actually, she's gonna go ahead and skip for now. There's a murder dactyl that kind of follows you when you originally go into Misery Mire, and if the medallion you have is ether for opening it, and usually that's the case. That's the vanilla version. The vanilla medallion is ether. If you let the murder dactyl get close enough, there's the ether medallion right there. So I'll go find it again in Spike Cave. But if you use that medallion to open up Misery Mire and the murder dactyl is close enough, it freezes the murder dactyl, and you can pick it up before going into the dungeon and toss it in the water.
Yeah.
Or
It's a bit silly, but it's fun.
it's fun. Yeah, it's loss of a few seconds for an enjoyable meme. You can also go ahead and do the bird tote, which is the exact same thing, but you don't throw it in the water. You just carry it into the dungeon over your head.
And as someone else in chat pointed out, there's also the bird smash, where you use the hammer on the poor bird, which is the cruelest of the options, I think.
Why would you do that? You throw it. You can tote it inside, and it gets warm, and it flies away. Or you can throw it into water, and the water warms it up, and it gets a bath. Why would you smash it? That's just mean.
Meanwhile, PKR making quick work of Argus pulling up the ice rod. This is interesting. Ooh, very nice.
I always like seeing that. You can use either the ice rod or the fire rod to do the exact same thing. They give the same damage values to Argus, but 2 shots and then a sword spin, if you have, I believe, temperate or above, will do the trick. I'm just gonna dip back in here and check those last couple chests there on the left.
Yeah, with a couple of items still on the table for go mode, you can't really abandon the left side here.
No, you can't really risk it. The risk is too high because if you do everything else, you still need a go mode item, and it's in here. You got to come in all the way back and do all this stuff again. So why? Yeah, like right there. That's the fire rod. Proving our point.
We are inching closer to go mode.
Indeed, just looking for that flute now. So this is where it becomes interesting because we need to start thinking about where it can be based upon what we still have left to check. Now, obviously, it can't be in Misery Mire. That's a given. Could be in Palace of Darkness. There's 1 item left in Pod on Helmasaur King, and they will have to complete that anyways. Could be... no, maybe not at the moment. It can't be in Desert Palace. We don't have access to it without the Book of Medora. So logically, it wouldn't be there yet. Could be... I'm trying to remember if we found 2 or 3 items inside of Eastern Palace. If we found 3, then it can't be in there.
I feel like there might still be 1 on the Armos Knights. Not 100% on that one. We've got a couple of other abandoned items in some of the other dungeons. The big chest in Thieves' Town is still on the table, as is the 1 item in the back part of Skull Woods, now that we have the fire rod.
Correct.
And it could be a nice palace. We haven't seen any of that yet, so still some options.
Indeed. So yeah, we're just trying to figure out location-wise where it can't be, and Misery Mire and Desert Palace seem to be the locations based upon where we found right now that Flute's not going to be, just based on the logic and the way the game operates and whatnot. We could find that book at some other point. For Zelda, it doesn't really matter what the medallion is either, because he's got them all.
Ooh, I think PKR might be heading into Turtle Rock, which is a pretty interesting play. I was going to say that I'm thinking maybe that flute's on the laser bridge. Now that we've got both rods, Canis and Maria, you got everything you need to do Turtle Rock. So take a gamble and see if it's in there. Why not?
Okay, you might as well go ahead and complete this.
Yeah. I don't know if Zelda would follow suit. I feel like he'd probably go for Ice Palace next before going for Turtle Rock. I'd be interested. I'd be surprised if he went for Turtle Rock as well. I know PKR is definitely more likely to gamble on a play like this. Not that this is a gamble, because I guess density-wise, it's the most item locations in one place here, but it's a long way up the mountain, I suppose. So I don't know if Zelda would follow suit.
Yeah. So very interesting here to see what Zelda does next. Does have that Ice Palace option available, but going in Ice Palace right now would not be able to go about it. Would need to open up a bunch of stuff and hope that flute's in there or books in there or something that leads to flute, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And just finding a bottle so far in the front, bottle and the key. I get the feeling that Zelga's trying to save Turtle Rock for the end, simply because of the fact that, it's a lot easier to go from TR to Ganon's Tower than it is to have to go back and climb all the way back up again. So we've got 4 more items to uncover here. And another key. So I assume we're going to see a check of the vanilla big key chest here in the middle.
Yeah, most likely.
Again, still looking for that one item. You can't really take a gamble that it's not there and try and save the key.
Mm-hmm.
It is more likely than not that it's going to be junk sitting here on the island, but yep, yeah, that's 300 rupees, which isn't bad, but is not a flute.
Yep, that's all we want to see at this point is the flute. So Zelda closing out the left side here, just about to take care of the last 2 chests, and then we'll really see kind of how the rest of this race is going to unfold. If he keeps following in PKR's footsteps, I don't think he's going to catch her. So, we've got to hope that he goes in a different direction if we're looking for an exciting kind of finish to this race here.
Indeed, and I see chat is discussing actually a little bit about tilt, and are these runners on tilt at this point? And I think not just because of the fact they're top 16, but because of how the seeds progress, I would assume that neither runner is even close to being on tilt right now.
They've kind of found like a pretty steady amount of progression. I think maybe PKR not getting the boots earlier might be a little bit annoying, but I don't know. I think everyone feels like they're probably knocking enough off that you can't be that far behind.
Yeah, so Zelda's actually going to go and check the waterfall cave. Interesting.
I don't think we've seen this yet, so
We have
I mean,
not. There's a shield and a red meringue. It's a cave full of red things, not blue things. Yeah, there's being frustrated and annoyed by the seed, but still being able to do really well. Tilt. I have been on tilt before. It is not fun.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I've been on tilt in this tournament at least one time pretty badly. But yeah, at this point, runners, when you get, I'd say even when you get the top 128, when you get into the bracket, a lot of those runners probably don't really get tilted, especially with the number of games that they've played of this so far. You kind of have an expectation that, it gets trolly sometimes. You just have to kind of keep your head up and muscle through it. Laser bridge check from PinkKittyRose. Ganon burner. And the compass.
So I think Trinex has something.
I believe so. I believe we found the big key, of course. I think we found the map and the compass. So a lot of bosses have item drops today.
Yeah, definitely.
Non-dungeon item drops. Very interesting. Doing a really nice job with the fire head there. I'm gonna take care of the ice head at the moment.
And making phase 2 look easy there. Very nice.
Meanwhile, Zelda making his pen gators disappear like magic.
Oh, just a big 5.
Very interesting. Zelda's gonna, instead of going left, it's gonna go down. Is Zelda gonna be going to check some of the other chests here and wrap around, perhaps? And skip the the chest on the left there and grab these chests on the right side to start with. Looks like.
Alrighty, so looks like PKR might be choosing to finish off Pod at this point.
Not a bad idea.
Mirroring, getting the mirror ready at least. Maybe looking at Hobo here.
Probably get Hobo and then do Pod. Zelda finding the butter sword, aka the gold sword, hanging out in one of the chests. There's the big key.
Hobo's got $50. That's not too bad.
And for everyone playing along at home, can the flute be on the pedestal? Well, yeah. If we find the book not on the pedestal, it sure can be. But we'd have to find the book somewhere. Not in Misery Mire at this point, or not in the pyramid fairy.
Our runners could blind pull the pedestal, I suppose.
Well, you need book to be able to get access into Desert Palace at this point.
Oh yes, right, yes. That's what we're missing. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
I'm on board.
Because the two ways to do it would be flute, gloves, mirror, or book. Yep. And we have gloves, mirror. We don't have flutes. And if we find the flute, then we're in go mode and we don't need to worry about it.
Right.
So Ice Palace looks like is going to strike out as far as being a flute location. Pod, we've got one more item here. If it's not on Helmasaur King, then Pod strikes out as well.
Yeah, starting to get kind of low on locations here.
Which, gosh, that's going to push us either into completing Eastern Palace or Skull Woods at this point.
Mm-hmm.
For something.
Okay, Zelda getting his Hobo check-in, just the 50 rupees up there.
So we also have not seen the Peg Cave. Chat pointing it out, and that's correct. We haven't seen them go back to Peg Cave since they grabbed the hammer out of Hype Cave. And I think that's going to be a check that they may want to hold off on. Probably want to pick up those crystals and complete these dungeons, get these out of the way. You gotta complete them anyways, you might as well go ahead and do it now.
Yeah. So what are you hiding, Helmsor King?
Just a piece of heart. So
Hmm.
now the questions begin. Where do we go next? Where does PinkKittyRose go next? Is her play going to Ice Palace, not knowing that it's not in there? Is it
Yeah,
Goldwood's check?
probably. Yeah.
Or is it actually going and no? She's gonna save and quit. I was gonna say, is she gonna make the gamble that maybe you go back and complete Eastern Palace? Yep, it's gonna be Ice Palace play.
Yep,
Already got that
Fire
there
Rod
right
comes
out.
out. Yep.
Yep, yep, pretty clear. So for those of you praying for a ped seed at this point, it's flute only, and your only option is that we need to find. Oh, she's gonna go check the waterfall cave first. Not a bad call. Hasn't checked that yet. Your only option for that is that we have to find the book at some point here before we get to the scenario where Desert Palace and Misery Mire are pretty much the only dungeons left to dip.
Yeah, so not a lot left on the table here, but it's pretty tight. I think PKR has that advantage having already taken care of Turtle Rock, but it's all going to come down to where this flute is. With the locations kind of winding down, the edge is going in PKR's kind of favor here. Because Zelda kind of needs to find that flute sooner rather than later to give himself a bit of a chance to catch up.
Yep.
But it is still anyone's game at this point.
So the one advantage that Zelda has at this point is having that ether medallion. If it's required for Misery Mire, is going to be super nice. If it's not, then it's not much of an advantage. We did not see a fake powder either. Both runners turned in the mushroom and got the half magic out of it. So powder showing up somewhere too could be a little bit of a sign. It could also be a red herring for our runners that, hey, magic bat has something. Nope, psych.
If Magic Bat did have something, though, that would have the potential to put our runners actually on tilt because they would assume that the other runner probably fake powdered.
Yep.
But, yeah, I don't know. Magic Bat seems like an odd place for our flute to be hanging out at this point.
Yeah, Zelda's going to go back and check Turtle Rock here, complete that. So
yeah, based on what you've got left on the table, it's the play to make.
So I have chat's bringing up something, and I think I may have an idea of what the next play will be after completion of Ice Palace for PinkKittyRose, and it might be a trip back to Village of Outcasts for the Thieves Town Big Chest, for the Peg Cave, and then if that's not the case, you go up and complete Skull Woods.
Yeah, I mean, all of those checks are kind of in the same area there. That would make perfect sense to go that route.
And yeah, without that book, obviously neither of the tablets can have location items either. So that's not something that we're worried about at this point. Yeah, I feel like Ped is kind of creaking toward a very slow and wobbly death at this point. Just based upon
Yeah.
the fact that we don't have that book yet, so we
Mhm.
don't have a way to go ahead and clear out the pendant dungeons.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is, one of these locations that we have still got on the table could be that book, and that would open up a little bit more for our runners to check out, and also invite the possibility that pedestal is still a possibility. But I don't know. Yeah, as you said, I think it's kind of on life support at this point.
Yeah, we're seeing our runners go ahead and skip that big chest in Ice Palace simply because of the fact I believe they've gone ahead and counted, done some nice item counting, and I know it's nothing of value in there. Yeah, we've got one item in Skull Woods, we've got one item in Thieves Town, and we've got one item in the Peg Cave. Very nice kill there from PinkKittyRose, getting all three of the cold stairs trapped up in the corner there. That's the way you want to do that fight.
I mean, with that's PKR's 6th crystal. So I mean, we're just chomping at the bit to try and get into Misery Mire at this point to finish off this seed. But likely heading over to Village of Outcasts and whatnot to clear out those couple of locations that are still kicking around. PKR does have a little bit of extra cleanup to do here. The King's Tomb check here probably hasn't done Bonk Rocks, I don't think.
Nope.
And Spike Cave is also in the cards for PKR. She hasn't checked that yet, which was the Ether Medallion, which could come in handy.
Yeah, I think at this point probably we'll see Bonk Rocks and then into the Dark World checks, because you're thinking, if it's in Spike Cave and I haven't found it yet, I may already be so far behind. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And both runners opening a chest inside of a cave that has a big 20.
That was pretty sweet.
Any items left in Skull Woods? There's one. One left in Skull Woods, one left in Thieves Town.
So even the order in which PKR chooses to make these checks can make a difference. If she leaves, hammer pegs till the last, but Zelda goes for that right away, and that turns out to be our spot, he'll be able to pick up a little bit of time. So it looks like, I'm guessing he's about 3 or 4 minutes behind at this point. So it's going to need a little bit of help to catch up.
Yep. A little bit of help or a little bit of luck that, as you mentioned, Sabo, just checking the right spot at the right time before PinkKittyRose gets there. That can mean all the difference in the world. Melt a lead away in an instant.
So this one item, is it here in this first hallway here, or is it on Mothula? That's another choice you have to make.
I think at this point you still have to just progress like you're checking all of these locations. You cannot take a risk when you're one item away. That's a book. Oh no. That was what we didn't want to see.
Yeah,
Though,
really.
we might get a pedestal check right now.
All right, chat. Here it is, the moment of truth.
Oh,
what? Oh,
she
what a
is
tease!
cool.
Okay, so going for Ether Tablet and then Spike Cave here. But why would you not check the pedestal? It was right there.
You know, some things are just better asked after the match, I guess. Maybe
Yeah, I think I'm writing this one down in all caps here.
ped check.
Huh?
Yeah, we're getting the combination here: Ether Tablet into Spike Cave. If this is flute, we might not get Spike Cave. Nope, we're going to Spike Cave, kids.
Alrighty, so Zelda with that butter sword makes quick work of Trinix there, and is now going to be in the same boat as PKR, looking for the flute here.
Yep. So with that Bokamodora find inside of the back half of Skullwoods as the second item, yeah, Ped is absolutely back open as an option now. Not likely, but possible. I believe Eastern's been cleared out. I think we found all 3 items in there. Have not found Desert Palace. We have not gone back into Thieves Town to check the one item that's still in there. So you can check Bombo's tablet. And Zelda's gonna go do Peg Cave first, so this could be huge. Getting 2 checks at the same time here, of 2 very far off, hard to get to locations. Ooh, magic powder. A 5-arrow upgrade. So Zelda's got another spot to check too.
Yeah, interesting that both of our runners have kind of found items that have opened up more locations for them. So which one is leading them in the right direction is important here.
Which one is the red herring and which one is the correct clue? Well, we're about to see from Zelga's side. Is this a flute on the bat? No.
So PKR's got 2 items here in Desert that could be our flute.
3 items. Yes, technically 2 items within Desert and then Green Pendant.
Oh, Green Pendant. Wouldn't that be something?
There's 1 item.
And Zelga had the hammer out early, so I kind of thought he was taking a look in Thieves Town here. Big chest has been left with an item, so this is another spot. We don't know. It could be the flute.
Absolutely. We still got 1 more item in Desert Palace. Plus that green pendant turn in, possibly. There's the big key, of course. And we've actually got a bunch of locations that it also can't be. So it's not going to be in Checkerboard Cave. It's not going to be in Mire Shed. That much we can go ahead and confirm for you right now. There it is.
Oh.
1 hour, 34 minutes, 12 seconds. PinkKittyRose making the call to go into Desert Palace, finding the flute, and is now in go mode. Toot, toot, it's a flute.
So this is unfortunate for Zelga. I'm going to have to pick up that book in Skullwoods and book it, no pun intended, over to Desert Palace to have any hope, I think, at catching up at this point.
Yeah, this is a huge jump in the lead here for PinkKittyRose. By no means is this over. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the Swag Duck National Anthem. You may be seated. Thank you very much. But yeah, PinkKittyRose now having access to that final dungeon. So it's going to be a flute to 6 and a dip into Misery Mire. Looking for that big key right now. It's all she needs.
So,
It's
I mean,
Quake.
it's Quake, so we don't even get our bird toss in the end.
Nope. Ah, well. Next time. But Zelda's about to find that book. And maybe a situation where finding the book kind of makes him think, uh-oh, this is not a good sign. You know, because this opens up a whole bunch of things I have to go check. That could have the flute.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna probably check the pedestal for us, so we will find out what's hanging out on there. But I feel like desert will be the first place that he goes.
I think so. Yep, we are going to get a ped check, everybody. So we'll have our great question answered here. And it's just arrow capacity. Meanwhile, Pink Kitty looking for that big key in Misery Mire. Opening up that first chest. It's not in there. Is this the God Mire? Is it in here? Is this game gonna make us an offer we can't refuse? Yes! The God
Nice, that's
Mire
perfect.
gives you its blessing.
That's always a really good feeling because Misery Mire, you're trying to go mode it. You're close to the end here. That's exactly what you want to see. You want to be in and out as quickly as possible.
Indeed. And for Zelda, that's not the hope that he would want to ultimately see if he were watching this, because that's good for him. That's that early. It's gonna be a fast Misery Mire, but not gonna be able to make up a whole lot of time here without some deaths. And looking like we could be having a butter silverless Ganon fight, which is not too bad. Is PinkKittyRose setting up spooky action? Yes, she is, and gets it.
Perfect. So I guess Zelda's got to hope for the Ganon's Tower Big Key to be somewhere kind of goofy at this point.
He's got to hope that Pink Magician strats backfire terribly, and he makes the right call on where to go, and it pays off.
Yeah, tile room gamble or something like that.
Right. Viddy just has a compass.
Yeah, PKR went with the dash strats. Butter Sword makes quick work of those eyeballs, so that was a pretty effective way to take down the boss.
Indeed. So, we don't have the bot here on ALTTP Randomizer, but we do have the game. If you would like to play along, and Chad's already doing it. So there is actually, Sabo, would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. There are 22 chests, sorry, in Ganon's Tower where our big key can be hanging out. So 1 through 22, put your guesses in the chat. Where do we think the Ganon's Tower big key is going to be today?
I'm going to go ahead and put it in rando room. So I'm just going to take all 4 of those chests, because sometimes as a commentator, you're allowed a little flexibility, especially when it's, chest number 11 they open up. If they open it up differently, it'd be 12, and you're just like, why did you open it up that way?
Totally. Hmm. I'm gonna say somewhere on right side. I think one of those 4 chests in on the right side there today.
The compass room.
Compass room,
I
yeah.
believe that's which one it is on the right side. Yep,
Yeah.
that's a popular spot for Big Key to show up actually.
And our wonderful tracker, Axis of Anarchy, is definitely going the anarchy route, choosing wanting the tower room. I like that.
Huh? Gotta live up to the name, right? And so PinkKittyRose will be entering into GT around. It looks like around 1 hour 40 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yep, looks like that's what we're gonna get.
And Zelda's basically just go mode Misery Mire behind, so a couple minutes behind at this point. Now we are seeing the Pink Magician strats. There's the key on location number 1. So for those of you playing along, PinkKittyRose is going to be the runner that we're following to see where that big key is. So her decisions will be, or her chest that she opens up and locations she checks are going to be the numbers that we count. There's 2, 3, so 2 keys in the map so far. 4 and 5. And here comes the mirror. And there goes the Pink Magician strats to the right side. There it is, number 6.
Nice.
And she's got 3 keys already because of how she played that. That's actually really nice. So no key worries going forward here in GT for PinkKittyRose. She's just got to get to the top of the tower at this point. So
Nicely corralling those mimics there.
Indeed. So unfortunately, I can't tell. I forgot to copy and paste who guessed 6 first. There were a bunch of people that guessed just number 6 in chat. So if you guess 6, congratulations, you win. And Pink making her way through the early part here. A lot of these rooms are very difficult. Ooh, actually using ether there to vaporize the Stalfos Knights right at the start. Very nice little strategy. I've not really seen that from a lot of runners.
Also like to note that Zelda also took care of the Spooky Mire glitch there, so that's pretty nice.
Very nice.
PinkKittyRose is just killing this gauntlet here. Very nice.
Super clean so far. Really doing a good job. Half Magic's gonna help a lot too. Actually using butter sword spins at the start and then using the fire rod to clean up for more damage. And she's already on to the most satisfying room in the game, part 1.
Yeah, these Wizrobe rooms, just awesome.
And through the short hallway to the most satisfying room in the game, part 2. And the reason for that name is just because the fact that killing those Wizrobes with that Kanan Samari hat is super satisfying after a very long run.
I think the only thing more satisfying in that Wizrobe room is seeing someone take care of that with the bow, which looks like incredible swag. With some of them doing it in a one cycle, it's just excellent.
I saw Frame do it.
Yeah, right. I think we were on
Like,
that one.
yeah, like last time we did it, he did it. He didn't have the cane. He did that, and that was impressive to see as well.
Yeah, us normal runners, yeah, taking care of it with the cane of Samaria there is a real feel good moment.
Indeed. I know he's in chat right now too, so. But Pink is on Moldorm 2 fight as Zelda reaches Ganon's tower, about 5 minutes behind. So it's a fairly large gap. It's not over till it's over. Till someone gets through that door and outguns, but it's gonna need a little bit of help from PKR making some falls on Ganon or having some struggles at this point to close that gap up.
Yeah, unfortunately for Zelda there, but PKR doing an excellent job getting through Ganon's tower right quick.
Indeed. Zelda's going to find the big key right at the start, but we'll need some keys to get further up tower here, so won't be able to just sprint right up there at the beginning.
Nice double there, kind of an odd pattern there, but still managed to get a double.
Indeed, and finishes off with one more, so 146. Zelda's going to be going up the tower, and Pink is going to be going out of the tower. Triple, double, and a single to finish it off. Very nicely done. Getting some police lyrics here. And PinkKittyRose on to phase 2, using the swag dash strats.
Yeah, really nice.
Already got the lantern out. Thinking ahead, trying to get the torch glitch in phase 4.
Yeah, this is going to be a silverless fight, but I trust that Pink Kitty's got the strats to take care of that, no problem.
Yeah, both runners absolutely can do that. And it's mostly difficult when you get to master this, just because of the sheer number of spins that are required. Arrows were in Misery Mire, so that's the answer to that question. Where were the silver arrows? They were one of the 2 items inside of Misery Mire, which we did not find a single one.
Yeah, and when you get the Godmire, you definitely don't check any other chests, so there's no way that our runners are going to be picking those up today. It's really good so far here.
Just got to finish these spins out. Very, very close. And it looks like we're about to finish out half of the top 8 for our tournament. We've got Gloin, we've got Gerdo, we've got Christos Owen, and to that list here, that list of names in the top 8, we'll be fighting for a chance for this tournament. We're going to add PinkKittyRose to that name as she dons and continues her rando tourney life, and see, very appropriate, with an official time of, let's see here, official SRTV time of 1:49:03. PinkKittyRose will take the series 2-1 and is in at the top 8 to face the winner of Gem versus TGH.
Yeah, great showing for sure. And it looks like PKR is already right in the waiting room here, so let's pull her in.
Yes, indeed. Let's get her in here.
And we're joined now by PinkKittyRose. GG's, congratulations on moving on to the top 8.
Oh my goodness, I think I've been having adrenaline going on ever since the flute showed up. It hasn't really calmed down yet, and that was my 5th time facing elimination. It's getting a little old.
It's getting a little old at this point. Well, you're gonna have another round to worry about because you're in the top 8. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's like, I already surpassed everything I was expecting by qualifying for brackets. Now I'm in top 8.
Going. You just kept going.
3 out of 4 of my series have been 2-1s.
Yeah, that's a lot of stress.
You're telling me! Oh, and most of the time what happens is I play the first 2 games, and I have like 2 work shifts in between game 3, so I'm like stressing over it there, and it's just like, And with a scene like this where I'm just like, okay, there's stuff that didn't go quite right early on, like I didn't fake flip before doing Agam, so if the flute's there, that's a problem. If the flute's in Thieves Town Big Chest, that's a problem. If it's at Hammer Pegs, it's a problem.
Yeah, there were a lot of spots that flute could have been hanging out, and both you and Zelda were looking for it almost at the same time. You had a bit of an edge by that point, so you were up by about 2 or 3 minutes. But yeah, it could have been in any one of those locations. So that must have just been a nightmare trying to figure out where it could have been.
Oh my god, when I picked up that book. It also made me feel really good about skipping the other portion of the front of Skull Woods earlier, so that play worked out this time.
Now with that book, you picked it up right there in the back part of Skull Woods, and you didn't give us a pedestal check once you mirrored into the light world. Chat was very disappointed. You really faked us out there.
Well, there was a long series of a single letter going on, so I wasn't really thinking about the pedestal right then.
But you probably did realize that was like, well, game wants me to go to Desert Palace now, doesn't it?
And when I started thinking about it later, it was just like, oh, I mean, if it's a pedestal seed, then it doesn't benefit me in any way to check it, because I'm gonna have to go clear desert anyways. I'm gonna have to run by Sahasrara to go to Eastern Palace anyways. So it really wouldn't do a whole it might have balanced out, but at the same time, it was mostly just me panicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Zelda is right now on the Ganon fight, finishing it up. Of course, those silvers were in Misery Mire, and neither runner found them because you got the God Mire. No reason to check anything else.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I saw him say Misery Mire, I'm just like, oh, that's nice. That means neither of us will have it. Oh well. It's like I didn't just leave it in mini homes or something stupid.
Nope.
Yeah. I guess, was there any point in the run where you were starting to feel like you were behind at all?
Probably about the time that I full cleared left side swamp and went through all of TR for nothing. Because at that point I'm just like, there's a bunch of really awkward overworld locations left. There's also the possibility of him having just gone straight into Ice Palace and it being there, thus saving in Death Mountain Climb, because I was so certain it was going to be in TR, but it wasn't. So all those little things are just like, there's a lot of just walking related time that could have been saved this seed, and that was the thing that was making me nervous, is just because the flute was the last item, depending on where it was and if it was available early, I could have been way behind just from sheer travel time.
Indeed. And as we were doing that, Zelda has finished up with official SRTV time of 1 hour 53 minutes 44 seconds. About a 4.5 minute gap was the ultimate gap there between the two of you. So still a pretty close race.
Yeah, most definitely, as you'd expect for a top 16 race here, for sure.
Yeah,
so, looks like Zelga's hanging around here. Should we bring him in as well?
I think so.
Get the
Alright.
cane.
We're now joined by our second place finisher, Zelgadissan. How you doing, man?
Yeah, doing good. GG's. Yeah, GG's, Pink.
GG Zelda, that one was painful.
Yes, it was.
That was a very difficult scene. I know you guys were both looking for that flute so much there at the end. Zelga, did you kind of have the same feeling that Pink Kitty did, finding that book in Skullwoods and just being like, oh no, this opens up so much.
Yeah, basically. Like, I mean, at that point, I had the book was literally the last place I could check, I guess, except Mothula. So I knew it had to be either behind that in desert, on a tablet, or on the pedestal. That was literally all I had left. So, yeah, that book was pretty ominous.
I gotta wonder, did you go straight up to Ether after book like I did?
I did not. I went to Bombos and then desert.
Okay. I hadn't checked Spike Caves yet, so I was just like, at least it gives me an excuse. Oh.
Yeah, I felt pretty behind after I got that, and I was hoping that Misery Mire would be Ether, which was in Spike Cave, just because I thought that might be an out-of-the-way place, but it wasn't. I didn't even have that going for me.
I at least used it once.
Yeah, I was also sad it wasn't Ether, because I wanted to see the bird toss, and I didn't get the bird toss, and I'm sad.
We wanted that pretty bad.
Yeah, it's Quake. You can't even do anything. Just stand there and get smacked.
It's just bird derp.
Skewered bird. Oh. Of course, I gotta wonder, when did you pull the trigger on going to Aghanim Zelda? Did you bother fake flippering over to Sora area, or no?
No, I did not. I skipped Zora, all the fake flippers, Sick Kid, and Agina.
Alright, Zora was my last in logic location, and yeah, I went past it too, so I didn't get around to the completely vanilla, by the way, waterfall variant
That was
so much
beautiful.
later.
That was amazing to find both of the upgrades hiding out there in Waterfall Cave. It's just like, well, it's another vanilla thing in this game.
Yeah, I don't know if you had your first shield, but it was 100% vanilla for me getting the fire one, so I was laughing at that.
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah, it was definitely vanilla. It was pretty funny to see that. They're like, they're looking for blue things. Well, they just found a bunch of red things hanging out there.
Oh.
Yeah, so you guys were pretty much in lockstep there, both going up to Aga at about the same time. I think, Zelda, you made the call just slightly earlier. It might have been about 30 seconds to a minute or so. Both went into pod right away, and then it kind of opened up after that. You guys picked up the hook shot, and a little bit of that divergence started to happen. Any thoughts in kind of like that mid-game area, Zelga, where you thought you might have been gaining time, losing time?
I actually feel pretty good about my route overall. I just think I didn't execute all that great, to be honest. But the route that I took, where I went ahead and potion glitched in, did the rest, got the ice rod, and then ended up going to Catfish immediately, getting the mirror, and that led me to Death Mountain where I got the boots. So honestly, that mid game, I feel pretty good about it, but I just didn't execute up to what I would want to do.
Yeah, because I mean, it felt like your routing kind of made a more traditional sense, I guess. Yeah, Pierre, how did you feel about the mid game there?
If I had actually thought about it maybe about 10 seconds sooner after picking up the Titan's Mitt, I would have just saved and quit and went to Death Mountain at that time.
Ah.
But I thought about it a little late, and so since I was already halfway to Skull Woods, I'm just like, I don't want to add another walk to Kakariko. Let's just do all this stuff and then go up. And then when I saw the boots, I was just like, no.
See, that was my one regret about it, is that I went up there before I had the Titan's mitts. So I climbed Death Mountain over and over and over.
Yeah, I think that was probably a little bit of a factor in the gap, was just that you did get the Zelda did get the boots earlier with that early Paradox Cave play, but Pink Kitty had the Titan's Mitt going back up there, so she was able to go ahead and route in. She also had the mirror going up there too, so that was super convenient to be able to go in there and route through all the light world stuff, all the dark world stuff, going into, you know, a really quick dip in Turtle Rock and finding out that, hey, the first chest has a big key, so I can't go any further anyways.
I recall doing something really weird after I got the mirror. Right, I mirrored, I checked Zora, then I went up and did Hera, and then dropped down to the teleport where Spike Cave is to save and quit to the pyramid to continue the Dark World. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
that was that weirdness. I remember doing something strange.
Yeah, you were actually going to go check Spike Cave at one point, and you were like, oh wait, Spiral Cave's still here. So you went back and mirrored and did Spiral Cave, and I think you saved and quit from there.
Yeah, my intention was actually just to check Spiral Cave, but muscle memory was just like, and now we're going to Spike Cave. Stop! We're bound. Oh, my brain is my enemy sometimes. Oh, it's just so awkward though, because it's just like, you get the fire rod out of Big Chest of Swamp, which was already something, and it was probably on both of our second trips in, so you kind of see that there's 2 more items there, and it's just like, do I leave now? It seems like a bad idea. I'm already back in here. Did you do left side too, Zelda?
I did. At that point, once I got that fire rod, all I had left was the flute. So I was like, I gotta go left in case it's here.
Same. It's just like, I don't want this to be one of those times where I jump the gun on a new item and then proceed to get completely screwed by not checking the kind of slow thing next to it.
I did honestly debate going towards the Skullwoods area right then, but it just seemed like a wrong play when you got stuff like Turtle Rock and Ice Palace, which I still had Bombos already, but yeah.
Yeah, there was too much open at that point to make the Skullwoods play for one item. You know, it made sense why you guys both decided to jump into more Crystal Dungeons after that. That was when PKR went for Turtle Rock, and then Zelda, you went for Ice Palace instead. So that was easily the better plays over the Skullwoods based on item densities.
Maybe if it was as weekly, then you go for the crazy stuff.
Yeah, right.
If I 1v1 in a game 3, hedging your bets on one item in the back of Skull seems bad.
Yeah.
Right this time, but I mean, we wouldn't have even known because it was the book, so that would just make you feel like extra bad.
Yeah, even with that book, I doubt I would have gone to Desert at that point. I just would have kind of like, okay, well, I guess I better go back to Ice and Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how often is Book of Menorah just a big bait? It seems pretty often. Oh.
Well, I guess maybe about time that we started wrapping things up here. Let's start with Zelda. You've made it to top 16. Unfortunately, the tournament comes to an end for you here. But how would you rate how things went in the tournament as a whole for you?
Overall, I'd say things went really well. This is a lot farther than I expected to get. I'm very happy to get here. And when I saw my opponent, I did not expect to move on. I said the same thing last week as well with Elminster. So just making it this far, I'm more than happy and just really excited to keep on going and see what I can do.
Awesome. And PKR, you're moving on, top 8. So your opponent has yet to be decided, but how are you feeling about how things have gone so far?
Well, I mean, the fact that I have been on the chopping block 5 separate times has been kind of insane. And, like, all of those have been, like, just back and forth games of win the first, lose the second, win the first for the bracket phase as well. So it's just like, I've had an incredibly stressful time since everything started so well. Like, I won my first 3 games in Swiss, but then I lost 2 in a row. And that's when everything just kind of started going a little crazy. I am, like, thrilled to have gotten as far as I have so far, though, because it's like, this is my first tournament. There's 520 some odd people in this one, and I'm here in top 8, and that feels... I don't know, I'm not used to doing well in anything. I'm used to doing, like, good, but not upper tier type good, so it just feels really strange. And is this even real?
This has been this has been a very large and very interesting tournament with some of the early round matchups we had, pitting, what people would say would be like, oh, these are some of the favorites, and they're paired up against each other in round one, so only one of them gets to go on anyway. So, when the tournaments are this big, it kind of offers opportunities for people to get into to a situation where you make top 16, top 8, and people are just like, well, wow, that's a surprise, kind of situation. But obviously getting to top 16, you guys were both super skilled to be able to get up here, so it's absolutely no shame one way or the other with what happened. You guys are both probably among the top runners in the community at this moment, so congratulations to you both on your tournaments, and congratulations as well to PKR for advancing to top 8.
It's honestly being a blast, because it's like doing just little SIL races and like the weeklies and nightlies and whatnot. It's not the same feel as the actual tournament races. They're a lot more exciting, a lot more tense. Plus, I get to 1v1 against people that are really, really good at the game, like Zelda and Gemini and Cine and everybody, like Willard, everybody that I come up against. It's just like, it's awesome. I never really got to have this experience at all because I was still pretty new to the community. So just getting the opportunity from surviving all this time to face better and better opponents like this is just, it's a little thrill. I like it a lot, actually. Even if it is stressful as anything.
Indeed it is. And thank you guys both for being here for the interview. It's been great to talk to you. It's been great to call this race. I was really glad I got to call this one. So again, if you haven't given either Zelda or Pink a follow, I would advise you do so. They are two very, very good runners of the randomizer seed, and they have two very good communities that are well worth hanging out in, so definitely give them a follow. And as well, I want to say real quick, just a thank you not only to all the people who make this possible as far as tournament organizing and whatnot, but thank you specifically to the people who helped out today. Iceman for the restreaming, Axis of Anarchy for hopping in here and doing the tracking, and of course, Sabo, thank you for once again co-commentating with me. It is always a pleasure working with you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Nihon Tiger. It was awesome co-comming with you again. Had a blast. It was a great race, and I am looking forward to hopefully doing more with you in the future. So I guess that's gonna do it for this broadcast. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and I don't know. I guess we'll catch you next time. Is there some more tournament action going on?
Yes, there is. There's a match going on right now. In fact, on Speed Gaming 5, we have Andy and Zero Rush. Game 2 is ongoing between those two, so that's going to be a barn burner. Those two are credible runners. I've called matches for both of them, and yeah, they're really good. You definitely want to head over there and catch that one. So for everyone here, I'll at least say good night, good luck, good RNG. Take care of yourselves out there. Remember, somebody loves you, and we love you too. So, as always, we'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.